It is the dilemma every seasoned traveler faces. The clock is ticking. I've got a few hours on this layover. Do I dare risk everything, get out of the airport, and get into the city and explore? And what if I miss my flight? We're putting the short layover to the test in the magnificent city of London.
All right, here at Window Seat, we'd love to see what we can do with a short layover. I just got to London's Heathrow Airport. I've got 4 hours until my flight leaves from here, and I've got to get into town to buy my kids a gift. Let's see if I can make it to the world's greatest store in this episode of Window Seat.
There are so many things to see and do in London. Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, Tower Bridge, the London Eye, the Ted Lasso neighborhood, and of course the greatest store on planet Earth. I chose the latter, and I'll explain why in a moment. But first, the challenge of getting out of Heathrow Airport in time to get into the city.
If you ever get the chance, just go ahead and do it, because you're going to regret sitting in an airport bar or your hotel room and not getting to see a city.
Now, this is a challenge we've undertaken in other cities before, from Lima, Peru.
All right, it's 6 in the morning. We just landed in Panama City. We have a 9.5-hour layover, and we have a choice.
To Panama City. Yes, airports aren't that bad these days. There are cool lounges and great ways to kill time.
The lounge here actually is really great. They need better food, though. That's the deal with a lot of these lounges.
But if you have time, even just a few hours, you got to get out and explore. And thankfully, I have been given the perfect assignment for this layover. My amazing daughter realized I was going to the UK, where they make her favorite brand of stuffed animal called Jellycats. They're very popular and plush and pricey, especially if you try to buy the one she really wants, this pink dragon stuffy. If you can actually find one in the US, they go for $55 or more. So she wants me to track one down for her here, and if you have a daughter, you know you'll move heaven and earth to make them happy, and so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Even if it means spending about $50 to take the express train from Heathrow into central London and back, all the while risking missing my return flight to the United States. It is my daughter. I gotta do it. So I paid the good people at this store called Left Luggage in Terminal 3 at Heathrow to hold on to my carry-on suitcase for me. Lots of people do it. They charged me about $18 to store it for 4 hours, which is kind of steep. But they did it. They kept it nice and secure in the back. I'll put a link to their website in the description so you can learn more about their services. And then off to the train I go.
This is a Heathrow Express direct service to London Paddington.
There is a long walk to the train station from the terminals, but the wait on the platform is a short one. And then it's all aboard for a clean, quiet, smooth ride into the city. And get this, it takes just a few minutes. The scenery isn't great, mostly passing graffiti-covered industrial buildings as we make our way into jolly old London. And yes, this is all just for a stuffed animal. That may seem a little silly, but this excursion is meant to be proof that even with just 4 hours to kill, you can make it into town to see at least a couple of famous sights.
Please pay attention when exiting the train. And mind the gap.
The first one I see is this iconic train station.
Now, when they say express, they really mean it. We got all the way from Heathrow to Paddington Station in central London in about 15 minutes. Lickety-split. And now I'm going to catch a cab and try and take in some scenery on my way into Harrods. Let's see what we can see.
As I make my way to the street, a bit more about Paddington Station. It is a main rail station for the city. It's very historic, been here in one form or another since 1838. It has a famous and gorgeous glazed roof, and yes, it's where Paddington Bear got its name. This is where the author of the famous children's book bought a teddy bear as a Christmas present for his wife, as the couple lived nearby. From here, it's up the escalator and out to the street to catch one of London's famous black cabs. With their high ceilings and curved sides and lots of room, they are a London institution. I had a great cabbie named Ian who got me around town, which isn't easy. I'd been warned not to get into a cab, to take the tube instead because traffic in the city is notoriously awful, and I'd likely be stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic for God knows how long. But I decided to risk it because obviously you can see much more of this city from the street level than you can from beneath it. And I wasn't disappointed because I got to see famous attractions like the City of Westminster College and the backside of this cab and that Hilton Hotel. Yeah, but no, seriously, even on a short jaunt into town, you can soak in all things London, from the cool old buildings to the double-decker buses to the storefronts and side streets, and of course the famous phone booths that give this place so much character. And it sure as hell beats sitting in an airport. And when we passed by this famous 5-star hotel and the great room nearby, I knew that meant we were close to London's famous Hyde Park. It's 350 lush acres of green English beauty connected to Kensington Gardens and in the heart of central London. And it's close to Kensington Palace, where, of course, Princess Diana lived. You probably remember the multitude of flowers and cards and mementos laid at the palace gates when she died. It's one of the most famous residences in all of England, and it is not to be missed. And the garden grounds nearby are drop-dead stunning. But I'm on a mission, and I don't have time for all that sightseeing, though you certainly should, even if you're watching the clock. My destination is the most popular department store in the world. Not kidding. They did a survey last year, and it really is. Opened in 1834, famously purchased in 1985 by Muhammad Al-Fayed, there was once a memorial inside to Muhammad's son Dodi and his girlfriend Princess Diana, who died together in that famous crash in 1997. This place is the crown jewel of shopping in London, and it's huge, covers more than 5 acres, 1 million square feet of floor space. The store even has a motto, Omnia Omnibus Ubique, which means all things for all people everywhere. And they're not kidding. This place has 330 departments. About 100,000 people shop here every day, and at Christmas, as many as 300,000 walk through the doors. And now, I'm here. It's my turn.
So despite the traffic delays, I actually made it here in pretty good time. Got through Paddington Station, got through the cab, got through central London, get to the front door, and what do you know? It's locked. They're not even open yet. And this is really going to cut into my window. I got to wait 25 minutes for the doors to open.
Yeah, so that's not good. Remember, I have like 3 hours to get inside, get that stuffed animal, and get back to Heathrow. But I used this downtime to research the layout of the store and figure out where inside I might be able to find that Jellycat. And thankfully, at straight up 10 a.m., the doors open and I burst in, my heart racing, my nerves frayed.
The problem is the store is huge and it's going to take forever to get through, and I'm trying to specifically find where this toy is so my daughter will love me for the rest of her life. So let's see if I can locate it. I think it's on the 4th floor, which is the floor I'm approaching. Here we go.
This place is a labyrinth of escalators and bright lights, sensory overload for lovers of all things high-end. But I finally navigate all the obstacles to get to the 4th floor, make a hard right, look up at the sign, and sure enough, my research was right. It's the toys and children's wear department. And wouldn't you know it, stuffed animals are the very first thing inside the door. And look right over here. This entire wall is filled with the brand of stuffies she wants. These are all Jellycats, but
Where is it?
there's one problem.
Where is it?
I can't find that pink dragon anywhere.
Oh no.
But wait a minute, right over there on that table, lo and behold,
Oh my god, I found it.
mission accomplished, and in no time flat.
Cannot believe I found this thing. It was literally right inside the very first door that I walked through, inside Harrods. It took me all of about 45 seconds to find this thing, and we may actually make this flight after all, and my daughter may actually be happy with me, which is a feat in and of itself. Let's see if we can make it back to the airport.
After a quick stop in the iconic Harrods gift shop, which is a place you absolutely have to go because you want to go home from London with something that has the Harrods name on it, be it a stuffed animal or a journal or a tote bag commemorating the coronation of King Charles. Whatever, you got to have a keepsake. Then it's back in the cab to do a little more sightseeing en route back. We cut through Hyde Park once again, and through the window I can vaguely take in the beauty, but mostly bumpers from other cabs in this awful London traffic. And then it's back to Paddington Station. God, this place really is cool. And then back on the train, and back to the airport to get on that flight. And by the way, I made it back with 2 hours to spare. I accomplished a London sightseeing excursion in just about 2 hours. All right, when you stop looking at the clock and sit down and do the math, this might not actually make much sense. I spent nearly $19 for the carry-on storage and nearly $50 on the train ticket and about $50 on taxi cabs, and suddenly that $71 stuffed animal really cost me $186.97. Ugh. But if you have a daughter, you understand. And as a traveler, hopefully you understand too that a layover, even one as short as 3 or 4 hours, can be an adventure. and it's time you really should put to use.
So there you have it. The store opened at 10 o'clock. I made it in and out of the store at 10:09 with everything I need, including that stuffed animal that my daughter loves so much. And again, it's further evidence that, yeah, your layover may be short, but you have time to get out there and explore, take home some cool knickknacks that you can't just find in an airport gift shop, and really, make your heart race a little bit when you're traveling around town, wherever that town may be. I'm Jeremy Hubbard. We'll see you on the next episode of Window Seat.
Meantime, don't forget to hit subscribe and like and share this video if you're so inclined. We're back next Friday with another adventure as we continue our journey to visit every country on the planet. Right now, we're at well over 70 countries, and we can't wait to see more. Also, while you're here, be sure to check out some of these other videos from Window Seat. We'll see you next time.